I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We're really excited to have this opportunity and open the dialogue up between the community and our staff and our directors. So the whole purpose of this is for us to listen to you and what you want us to know. What are your concerns and what input do you need to get across to us? We're going to take everything that's discussed today and we're going to put it in a report, and that's going to be presented to our city council, and they can use that to make decisions based off. Not only will they get a written report, but you have the pleasure of having several council members present today. Council members who are present, if you'll stand. These are your council members, and they will be very excited to hear your input. So just going quickly over some of our priorities, and we're going to talk about what is included in the CIP. And those are those projects that cost $25,000 or more. They have a useful life of greater than 3 years, and it requires more than 6 months to complete. This plan is revisited annually, and it spans 5 years long. Projects such as street improvements, the recent auditorium renovations, parks such as Brentwood Park that is currently under construction. The current draft includes 102 projects that are underway or that we plan to begin within the next 5 years. That's $416 million in total projects. As a part of this process, we seek public input, which is our purpose of this evening. The other way to communicate your opinions to us is through our online survey, and that will be open through mid-February if you would like to complete one. The CIP will be presented to council at the first meeting in February and adopted at the second meeting on February 20th. Again, we're here to listen to you as our citizens in our community, and we have several directors here present if you have particular questions. I do ask that you state your name when you come forward and try to limit your remarks to less than 3 minutes. There is a microphone set up front if you would like to start there. Oh, I'm sorry. Our mayor is also present with us today, and Ms. Gunther.
Welcome and thank you for all being here tonight. We know that one of the most important aspects of city government is transparency, and we hope through the process tonight of listening to your concerns and the issues that you believe are most important, that we better understand the priorities of our citizens. Know that, as was indicated, there's a laundry list of many projects, $400 and some million. I think if you take a look at the current CIP program, you will find that those totals in that current come up to a funding request or needs of over $700 million. So when we talk about new needs, new issues, new requests, remember there's got to be funding for those. And so as we look at the current, introduce new, that everything will have to be prioritized in terms of what is capable of being funding. And again, if you're here not as a new project, but something that has been an existing project that still doesn't have funding, certainly bring that up as well. But needs change, and tonight is sort of to look at it from a new needs perspective and look at how we can work with the citizens to best deliver the best quality of life that we could possibly have in the city of San Angelo. So thank you again for being here.
Do we have anybody who'd like to start us off? If
My name is Bill Carter, and I'm a resident of of San Angelo for about 35 years. I am one of 60 residents on Parkview Lake, which is over on the south side of town. And I'm here to kind of bring a reminder to the council and to everyone else about a plan that was begun a few years ago, part of the stormwater project. And we consider ourselves a proud participant in the stormwater project because we think it's very necessary for the community and it does concern us. And so we wanted to bring that up to you and have that. We know a study will have to be done at some point, but we want to be sure that we could get our name in the hat to get that started if we can. We also we're lucky, we have Paul Alexander here, who was on the council at that time when that study was done. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Paul to say a word or two. Maybe he might be able to bring us up to date a little better, okay?
Thank you.
It's open mic, so he's very welcome to come up and speak.
It's not real tough, but I can tell you that, and I'm Paul Alexander, city councilman from 2010 to 2013, and this project is something I'm aware of, and we did studies on the entire waterway, but Clinton Bailey went back and studied that lake in particular and found it was very efficient at pulling debris out of the system, the water system. And so I believe I got Kendall Hirschfield up to speed on this, and Kendall, me, and Dwayne Morrison ran for mayor, and Kendall and me lost to Dwayne, and we exited, and so did the project. Okay, it just became forgotten. It needed to be something we needed to keep up with because that lake will eventually fill up with silt, and then when all the reeds start growing, it becomes wetlands, and we can't touch it, and all kinds of things happen. We need to be paying attention right here and thinking about how efficient it is and what we get for our money when we dredge that, and how we can work with the citizens in that area and what they come to the table with and get it on a long-term plan eventually. But first, we need to look at when we can get this thing started because it will fill up. It's getting close on the mouth area of that water. Is there anything else you can think of? Okay. And I'm going to take the rest of my time and give it back to Bill if you need it.
Have you got more?
No, we get 6 minutes between us.
Oh,
Use every second.
well, it doesn't look like we got a big line behind you, so. Well, I'll just take a few moments just to get a little more personal about it, and that what has happened over the years, it, by the way, has never been dredged before. There are 3 lakes actually that are in the plan to be dredged. Sunset Lake, which is kind of the brown lake that's on Sunset. There's a couple of them on the north side of town. I can't remember what those names were. Ours is the largest, although it's not a lot larger, but it's Parkview Lake is actually has a causeway across and where Parkview Lake actually goes across, Parkview Street goes across it. And so that's kind of the way it's built up. The spillway is at what I'd call the west end, where all of the storm water comes through. And when it comes through, it comes to that first section and it drops it does its job, what it's supposed to do. In fact, the study said that it was the most efficient lake in town because it did 83% of what it was supposed to do. And what it was supposed to do is to slow down the water and catch the silt, and that's what it does. The downside of that is it's filling up the lake with silt. And at the west end, where all this comes in, happens to be the part where all the $1 million homes are, and they are asking for tax relief because their values of their homes are going down. So that's another thing that just kind of enters into the whole thing, and we thought with something that we might just also mention. But what our main plan is that we think it's for the public good, that this needs to be done, but it also, we're a willing participant in helping to make, hopefully we can get that straightened out. Did I leave anything out? Time's up, okay. Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Eric Igler. I'm one of the local physicians at Shannon. I'm here again for stormwater. This is probably the 40th time I've come up since May of 2007 regarding flooding issues on River Valley Lane and now on Foster Road. Since the first time I came up, Initially, there was no development on Whitney, which is a side street off of Foster Road, nor was there anything on Bentwood, on the east side of Bentwood, nor any commercial property built on the frontage road of 306 in front of Bentwood, north of Bentwood. Since my initial concerns were raised in 2007, there has been over 15 acres of non-absorbable surface put in place. That translates to millions of gallons of runoff on a 2 or 3 inch rain. Once we get the very fast rains that we get sometimes in spring, even absorbable surface like lawns become non-absorbable surface. The city engineering department has, the new one, has been very good and come up with a plan to fix both those flooding problems. However, a plan does nothing without funding. It's tantamount to me as a physician standing there while you're having a heart attack saying, I have a plan, but not implementing anything and letting you die. We have 7 houses in our neighborhood that will be underwater if we get a rain like we did in 2012 or in 2015. There's currently no outlet for the water to the river on Foster Road, nor in our neighborhood. This was obvious to a child that this was untenable in 2007. And we were reassured at that time that that would be put in place. That has not been done in 10 years. It's time to do something about it. It's time to get it fixed. The cost is just going to rise, as you all have found out on Avenue P and several other areas in the city. The city is not immune from liability under state statute 11.086. Please look it up. The liability to the city is proportionately huge compared to the cost to fixing both our problems. So I'm asking that the city makes a move on this before there's damage to homes, cars. 150 homes will be inaccessible if Foster Road floods. The fire marshal has said that even the large trucks would not be able to pass through the flooded area, let alone ambulances. So it's also a very big safety concern. Foster Road has become impassable for over 4 hours on 2 occasions with relatively small rains since the development in Bentwood. It's a relatively simple fix. We have a plan. The city engineering has that. I'm asking that the city council considers getting this done as a priority due to the number of people affected by it and to prevent significant damage to several homes in an area that before this development was perfectly dry. So please consider the stormwater issue across the city and particularly in those 2 areas. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As others want to gather their thoughts, I'll just run through some of my favorite projects that we have currently going on. We are just starting Brentwood Park over on the north side of town by Howard Street. And
That is
is
a park
going to be-
renovation project. It's park renovation. It's not a new park, it's a renovation.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Carl. We're renovating an old park. It hasn't been updated since, I believe, the 50s, and it's going to have a complete new facelift. We're going to have walkways, new playgrounds, a lot of exciting things for a neighborhood with a, brand new park. Is there anyone want to come up before we continue on?
I'm Lori DeCello, and I sit on St. Angelo's Park and Recreation Advisory Board, and I'm with you in the Brentwood neighborhood park renovation. That is a really nice place, and I'm here to see if other public have comments so that I know what the citizens are concerned about in their parks and recreation. I think that having good recreation and well-being for our city brings in people, brings in the business, keeps things upbeat and together. I also sit on the San Angelo Botanical Garden Committee. And if anybody would like to talk to me to make sure that when I sit on the advisory board, their issues are known, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think you might find interesting on our online survey, we've already had 650 responses. And so that's tremendously higher than what we've had in prior years. And the top two parks projects have been Unidad Park and now I'm going to draw a blank on the second one. But Unidad Park is our leading park, and I'd be happy to get you that information.
Online, 600 of them showed up.
We made it convenient for them. Yes, we mentioned earlier we have an online survey. It's on our Facebook page and also on our website. And it's 6 questions. It's only going to take you about 2 or 3 minutes to complete. And we would love to have as many responses as we can. And we're going to collect all of that data and put it into a report that will be provided to our city council. The deadline to present for our first meeting with council to submit is going to be mid-February. Yes. This is just what is of most interest to you, and so we know which projects have the highest interest in the community. Yes, sir.
Hi, Roger Banks, former city employee, and I'm a member of the Fort Concho Board and a retiree. And of course, I'd like to see all the excess money go to the retirees, but I don't think that's why you're here. I'm here to support the projects that you have online regarding Fort Concho, the repair of the roofs, updating and revamping the Visitor Center 1, and the Company Road as a future project, all of which right now are in the planning stages, but not completely funded. The Fort does do a good job of getting donations for most of their projects, but there are times that they need help from the city, and of course, we would appreciate those. As a regular citizen, my 3 priorities, of course, are roads, water, and roads, and we would appreciate you to continue to support those. So thank you.
Thank you. I think we can all agree with the water and roads. And he did bring up a good point. The city does try to work really hard to match our funds with non-tax-paying dollars to make those monies go as far as possible. Yes, sir.
My name is John Henry. I'm with KSA Engineers. And with all these capital improvement projects, I'd hope the council and other members would try to keep local money local. If we have the capabilities and the experience to design projects, please keep that in consideration, because a lot of projects go out of town for some reason, and we might as well keep the money local. Taxes, everything works local. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's no more comments, if anyone else has anything, we'd love to hear from you. If not, we do, like I said, our online survey, and you can always get a hold of us at City Hall. Thank y'all so much.